Good evening, welcome back to the Daily Business Bulletin of Into Vietnam, only here on VITV. In today's news, we look at the following stories. The ANZ forecasts Vietnam GDP will grow 5.6% in 2014. Budget collection expands by 16% in the first quarter of 2014. And Hai Duong province attracts the biggest FDI project nationwide. According to a recent report released by the ANZ, Vietnam GDP will grow 5.6% and 5.8% in 2014 and 2015 respectively, on the back of slow but stable improvements. Economic growth at 4.96% year-on-year came in below market expectations in Q1, despite posting a two-year high for Q1 growth. It showed that external-driven demand remains the driving force of economic growth. On the other hand, easing inflation points to the slow improvement in weak domestic demand. The central bank decided to further ease monetary conditions by cutting its policy refinancing rate 50 basis points to 6.5% in the middle of March, thus making a limited effect on the already tepid credit growth. State budget collection in the first quarter of 2014 recorded a significant increase of nearly 16% over the same period last year, creating favorable conditions to implement budget spending, ensure a balanced budget, and maintain macroeconomic stability. The domestic collection in the first quarter of this year was recorded at nearly 134 trillion dong, or $6.2 billion, equivalent to 24.8% of the annual estimate. It was also the highest first quarter revenue in the past 3 years. The robust results of Q1 domestic revenue is attributed to the close and effective coordination between central and local authorities. The increase in revenue may also be attributed to tightened inspection and supervision of budget collection, VAT refunds, transfer pricing, e-commerce business, online business, and so on. According to the Ministry of Finance, Vietnam has planned to borrow some 95.8 trillion dong, or $4.52 billion from foreign sources in 2014. During the year, the country will spend 49 trillion dong, or $2.32 billion, on paying international debts. In addition to foreign loans, Vietnam is projected to collect some 367 trillion dong, or $17.39 billion, from domestic loans in 2014, following the decision 477 recently approved by the Vietnamese Prime Minister. The decision orders relevant ministry and agencies to review government-committed key projects to ensure that the national foreign debts by 2020 will not exceed 50% of the country's GDP. Hai Duong province attracts the biggest FDI project nationwide, while the Mekong Delta's Rural Agricultural Development Plan to 2020 gets approved by the Prime Minister. More in the following news.
The northern province of Hai Duong has licensed a Dai An Vietnam Canada International Hospital project with total registered capital of $225 million. This is the biggest foreign direct investment project in Vietnam in the first quarter of 2014. The Canadian invested project aims to build a general hospital and provide healthcare services to local people. Hai Duong has granted investment licenses to 8 new and 6 operational FDI projects with the combined registered capitalization of $319.4 million during the past 3 months. The province expects to lure $450 million in FDI, including $300 million from newly licensed projects, and disburse $200 million this year. Localities in the Mekong Delta region have set a target of reaching an annual rice and aquatic product output of 24.5 million tons and 3.5 million tons respectively by 2020. The target was defined in the Rural Agricultural Development Plan to 2020 with a vision to 2030, approved recently by the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. According to the plan, the region aims for every 1 hectare of cultivated land to fill 130 million Vietnam đồng or $6,110, and every 1 hectare of agricultural farm 250 million Vietnam đồng or $11,750 by 2020. The plan also said it is necessary to minimize the transformation of agricultural land into non-agricultural one in order to ensure a rice land area of 3.25 million in 2020.
The scale of Vietnamese businesses tend to decrease as the proportion of small and micro businesses has become greater than medium and large-sized enterprises. This was revealed at the Forum on Business Development and Quality Growth at the launching of the Vietnam Business Annual Report 2013. The Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or VCCI, said the proportion of small and micro businesses increased continuously from 2007 to 2012, reaching 94 to 95.8%. Of this, the proportion of micro enterprises rose from 61.4% in 2007 to 66.8% in 2012. Medium and large businesses have always accounted for a small proportion of the nation's total enterprises and have tended to decrease. In 2012, only 2% of all businesses were medium-sized businesses and 2.3% were large firms. And now it's time to update on import and export activities across the country.
According to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development Statistics, in the first quarter of the year, Vietnam exported 24,000 tons of tea valued at $37 million, representing a decrease of 15.4% in volume and 13.8% in value compared to the same period last year. In March alone, the country shipped 18 tons, generating $11 million in revenue. Tea exports to Pakistan, Vietnam's largest tea consumer, experienced a slight decline of 13% in volume and 1.7% in value. The average export price of tea in the first 2 months was $1,597 per ton, up 4.92% from a year earlier. Despite the modest fall in exports for the quarter, government economists remain optimistic on tea exports for 2014. The Vietnam Tea Association forecasts Vietnam will export 138,000 tons of tea this year to earn $222 million, substantially equivalent to last year's figure. According to the Vietnam Fruit and Vegetable Association, fruit and vegetable exports earnings grew by 32.2% to $215 million during the first quarter of the year and are expected to hit a record high of $1.2 billion this year. The majority of fruit and vegetable exporters are optimistic that 2014 will be a thriving year as backlogs of orders from traditional markets such as Russia and Japan have increased strongly. The top 5 importers of Vietnamese fruit and vegetables are China, Japan, the US, Thailand, and Malaysia. China is the largest consumer, accounting for nearly 35% of the total value. Last year, China purchased $302 million worth of Vietnamese fruit and vegetables, an annual increase of 38.8%, and market analysts forecast this growing trend will continue this year.
A lot of garment and textile companies in Vietnam said they have export orders till the end of the second quarter 2014 and even constant orders for the whole year. This is the positive news for the sector, worth more than billions of dollars in exports, and for the whole country export sector. VITV reporter has a story. This is the Thành Công Garment Investment and Commerce Company, where workers are rushing to complete an order for 360,000 T-shirts, which is supposed to be shipped in March and April. They're also working to meet orders for the third and final quarters of this year. Mr. Trần Như Tùng, member of the board of directors, said by the end of March, one of their orders was adjusted up in number.
Đơn hàng thì đến từ thị trường Mỹ cũng có và thị trường Nhật Bản cũng có. Phần lớn cái sự tăng trưởng đến từ thị trường Nhật Bản là nhiều. Về cơ cấu mặt hàng thì cũng không có gì khác nhiều, chỉ có điều rằng là cái sản lượng nó tăng lên, số lượng nó tăng lên. Ví dụ như thay vì năm ngoái họ đặt ví dụ thôi, ví dụ như là 1 triệu sản phẩm một tháng thì bây giờ họ nâng lên là 1,2 triệu sản phẩm một tháng, ví dụ như vậy thì cái sản lượng nó tăng lên.
2,500 sewing machines are running at full capacity, but Tankong Company can only meet 75 to 80% of their demand. The company has to hire others to process up to 20 and 25% of their export products. But Mr. Tung said this is just a temporary solution. In the long run, his company plans to establish a new factory complex in Vĩnh Long. It will consist of 2 factories with 3,000 workers, a textile and a dyeing factory. Tankong is among many apparel companies across Vietnam to have reported export orders to the end of second quarter and even for the whole year.
Trong quý 1 thì là vẫn xuất khẩu bình thường, doanh thu vẫn đạt được rất là lớn, chứ không về chủ yếu là bọn tôi bạn hàng cũ của bọn tôi rất là thường xuyên rồi, lâu rồi. Và chủ yếu bọn tôi là đến từ 80 đến 90% là xuất khẩu, chủ yếu là châu Âu và một phần là sang Nhật Bản. May thì bọn tôi đã hết cả năm 2014. Tức là toàn bộ là đơn hàng là có khách hàng đến 2014 hết.
The Vietnam General Statistics Office said in the first quarter, its garment and textile export revenue surged 21.9% to hit $4.5 billion US. In March alone, Vietnam pocketed $1.6 billion US from exporting garment textile products, up 46.8% over the previous month. According to the Vietnam Textile and Apparel Association, the sector exports will even rise stronger in the future, which means production material demand will increase and we estimate it to double by 2025.
Chúng ta phải nhập 6 tỷ mét. Nhưng cũng theo đánh giá của VITV, Hiệp hội Dệt may Việt Nam ấy, thì năm 2025 nói tính một cách khiêm tốn thì toàn ngành nó sẽ tăng gấp đôi, rất khiêm tốn. Vì từ năm 2007 đến nay cứ một năm là mức độ tăng trưởng từ 15 đến 17% như bà Thứ trưởng Hồ Thị chúng ta vừa cho chúng ta thấy. Thế nên bình quân là 16%. Nếu mà 16% thì không phải đợi 10 năm nó tăng gấp đôi. Đúng không ạ? Muốn tăng gấp đôi thì có nghĩa chỉ cần không khéo là có thể đến năm 2020 hoặc 2021 nó tăng gấp đôi rồi. Tiêu thụ nội địa chắc tăng trưởng cũng chưa phải là cao. Xuất khẩu vẫn là lớn hơn nhiều vì thị trường nó rất lớn. Thì chúng ta thiếu bao nhiêu tỷ mét vải? 12 tỷ mét. Hiện nay chúng ta có 1,4 tỷ để tạo ra 12 tỷ mét vải đấy. Đấy là một câu chuyện.
Apparel firms said quarters 2 and 3 are not the peak time for the sector. However, with the current export orders, the sector exports is showing a positive prospect in 2014. The VITAS estimated by 2025, Vietnam's garment and textile sector will earn $46 billion, including $40 billion from exports. By that time, the sector supply chain will need 12 million textile rolls, 12 billion square meters of cloth, and generate jobs for 5 million people. As usual, the final part is the summary of the local securities market between April the 7th and the 11th. Well, that's all for now. Thank you so much for your attention. For comments and feedbacks, you can reach us by email at intovietnam@vitv.vn or give us a call at 0422208288. Goodbye for now.